Guys, so I feel the need to introduce myself because today is the launch of my YouTube channel. So I have decided to start putting my podcast episodes up in video form too. So today you may be watching me on YouTube where you'll have more of an experience of like how all this goes down. You're definitely getting the unedited cut, which now I'm just over a year in and I talk fast anyway. So I usually don't have to do any editing anymore. Like I've kind of removed, as I say, like I've kind of removed all the awkward and silences. But I'm sure I'll screw up at some point. So, feel free to laugh with me at myself because I will certainly laugh at myself. So if you're listening to this on my podcast, you're missing out on my amazing Hocus Pocus 2 release shirt and whole outfit, really, because I have on these awesome earrings that my friend Sarah created herself. They're like those clay earrings. So it's the hair of each of the Sanderson sisters. So cute. So you can find her shop on Instagram at Wango Designs. Go support small business and check her out. Plus the Sanderson Sister Squad t-shirt, which is totally the opposite of supporting small business, is from Amazon, but it's so cute. I'll link it in my Instagram, in my Amazon faves. So I'm more excited for this release than my own children for sure. And by the way, I'm still talking about Hocus Pocus 2. So they have no choice in the matter. My kids, they are sitting down to watch the movie with mom on Disney Plus tonight. End of discussion. So anyway, you did not come here today to talk about Hocus Pocus. I know. So let's get to it. I don't know why I'm whispering. The last 90 days of 2022. So first, I really like when people wish the year away. My husband is good for this. Like he'll tell me how many days till Christmas when it's only July. I'm like, no, I don't want to hear that. Like I want to enjoy the moment, the here and now. That being said though, I do have a business mindset. And so I have 2 degrees in business fields, finance and business administration. So I do like to kind of analyze my life by quarters and feel out what is and isn't working for me. And don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with any more of that business chatter for this episode. So, but I do want to get you thinking about creating an amazing Q4 in 2022. So you can do more in 3 months than you've done all year. Humans thrive off accomplishing things. Okay. So like, it feels so good to finish something, doesn't it? Like it can be anything, all of the laundry in the house, painting your nails. I painted my nails today. Mom, win. Finishing a workout program or finishing a big project at work. It just feels good to get things done. And even like getting the littlest things completed can make you feel more confident and capable, right? Like doing nothing is nice sometimes. Of course, it's important to make time to just be. But I find when I'm doing nothing for too long, I start to feel that the longer I do nothing, the harder it is to start doing something. You know what I mean? So my whole perspective begins to shift when I start getting things done. Like I just look at life differently when I'm in the mode of accomplishing more things. So just last episode, I know I was talking to you guys, those who listen to my podcast. I was talking to you guys about how I had just gotten a few big projects done off my to-do list that had been on there like far too long and how amazing it felt. And it inspired me to want to do more. We talked hustle, right? Hustle. Sorry, anti-hustle people. I'm not here for that message. And anybody you see reaching their goals did so with some freaking hustle. The people uncomfortable with the word fail to find balance in the process, right? The hustle in the journey is not the problem. It's your lack of rest. It's your lack of scheduling in rest. So there's a quote that I've seen online. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. Let me say that one more time. We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. So I kind of call this like the pessimist and the optimist, right? Like if you want more negative in your life, then focus on the negative. We all know the people that do that, right? And if you want more positive things in your life, then look for the positive. Practice gratitude, shift your vibration. It takes a conscious effort every single day. And you have to wake up in the morning and decide what kind of day you will have. Like you just do. I mean, this is not me pretending that nothing bad is going on. This is just a skill that I learned at a young age, lessons I learned from experiences that taught me I could either make a bad situation worse or create some good in it. It's a conscious choice. And it's not easy, but it's worth putting into practice because that will form a habit. And it's a habit that is worth tapping into every single day. You know, life is too short for us to just accept what is being handed to us. So you got to find what you can control. And there is always something. And then you focus on that. And, you know, maybe you're going through a tough time right now and you're rolling your eyes at me, but hey, if you're new and just seeing me for the first time, literally seeing me for the first time on YouTube, if you haven't listened to my podcast before, I always say I'm here to talk with you through things that I myself need to hear. Not the easy things, not the feel-good things, but the things that require us to elevate our life. That's the kind of girlfriend I am. And it takes a conscious effort every day for me to wake up and choose gratitude and joy. And some days it is harder than other days, but I share my routine on my Instagram so others can see what works for me. But you have to find what works for you. For me, it's music and gratitude and reading personal development and moving my body. Try things, figure out a routine that works for you, that helps you raise your vibration. First thing in the morning, set out things the night before that kind of sets your morning up for success in case you wake up a little like groggy. I like to have my workout clothes already picked out, ready to go. My journal and my personal development book are sitting right next to my gym equipment. You know, if you're going to read, have that book out, have your Spotify playlist ready. I have my favorites saved on my Spotify. Or I have some motivational YouTube videos too for that. Those are for like the really tough days. I turn to those YouTube motivational videos. Oh my gosh, they make you feel like a freaking lion. So find your thing or things and start doing those things like every single morning. I do it every single morning, even on my rest days. And I say rest days because you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, you know, I'm like, I work out, right? I do Beachbody programs. But even on my rest days, I do all the other things still. So that's first and foremost how we are going to make the most of these final 90 days of 2022. Because if you're in a negative space, if you're only focusing on what isn't going right in your life, on what maybe didn't go as planned in 2022, on the suffering and the loss that you have experienced, if you're only focusing on that, then that's all you're going to find in the remaining 3 months of the year. So wake up and find new things to focus on. Some people I know do this before bed, but I do it in the morning just because I keep my journal out with my gym equipment so I can practice my gratitude in it first thing in the morning. And so I also, when I wake up in the morning, I write down 3 things that went well the day before, but I know some people do it at like the end of the day, like they write down their wins, right? Focus on your wins. It's game changing. It totally helps me shift my focus in the morning and it helps me get into that space of gratitude. So then I write 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then I write 3 things that I can do that would make today great. And then I write an affirmation for myself for that day. It's a 5-minute process. It's literally called the 5-minute journal. It's magic. I'll link the 5-minute journal I use in the show notes. So you have to create your reality because sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm still feeling down about sales that didn't go through or a business goal that I missed or a lack of energy I felt the day before or yelling at my kids when I shouldn't have or a fight I had with my husband. And I wake up and I think, like my life is just crap, you know, but it's not, but I'm focusing on any number of those things. And then I'm finding things around me to support that negativity. And I could spend all day just finding proof that my business is crap. I'm failing in my relationship and I'm a horrible mom. As a fitness coach, I see people do this all the time in their health and fitness journey. They miss one workout the day before and then they wake up the next day and say, why bother? I'm a failure. Or they eat cake at a birthday party and then they wake up the next day and just say, well, I failed. And I'm just going to shovel more and more crap into my mouth that makes me feel like crap. Despite the fact that I was feeling really amazing and I know what to do to feel good. You get a chance to do things that make you feel good every single day. And those things are going to be different for all of us, right? But you get a chance to do those things every single day to remind yourself what a powerful freaking woman you are. I probably would have used another word if I was on my podcast, but I'm not sure yet if I can cuss on YouTube. So powerful freaking woman, right? And if you see life not as it is, but instead of as you are, you better work on where you are, right? So for me, that's that conscious effort I put into my mindset first thing in the morning. It's really important for me to do it first thing. So now let's create our reality. I don't give a crap how the last 9 months went. I do care how the next 3 months go. I care about what you can do for yourself today and what you can do for yourself in the next 30 days and the next 60 days and the next 90 days as we close out 2022. So focus on how you want to feel on New Year's Eve. When you're thinking about the past year, right? You've got your glass of champagne and you're toasting to kicking off 2023. This is going to be my year, right? Like we all say that. But how do you want to feel about 2022? Do you want to feel like, ugh, I'm glad that year's over, which I'm sure we all felt about 2020, right? Or do you want to feel like I'm super freaking proud of myself for what I accomplished this year? I'm super freaking proud of myself to take the progress I've made these past 3 months into 2023 and see what else I can do. How will you remember 2022 and create that reality? I got to tell you, I know it can feel hard if you had set big goals on January 1st, 2022, big goals that you didn't reach, because I know I did. I had 2 business goals set that just didn't happen. And honestly, I'm not even close, if I'm being totally honest. But you know what? I've been shooting for them all freaking year anyway. I haven't stopped working. You can just barely, if you're watching me on YouTube, see those pink Post-its that I have on the wall. Some of those goals are written there. And even though I've passed the deadline to reach those goals, I still keep them there because the year isn't over and I'm still making progress and I'll be that much closer to hitting that goal next year, right? Whether I reach them in 2022 or not, every month that passes, I'm a month closer to the goal because every month I'm making strides. Sometimes life happened and they were smaller strides, but I never stopped. But guess what? I also wanted to learn to play the guitar. And that goal hasn't moved an inch. I ain't even taken a baby step in that direction. I'm not one to say that I don't have time to do something. I don't like that because I hear that excuse a lot as a fitness coach that people don't have time. And that's not the truth. It's never the truth. The truth is that I didn't make time for it, right? I didn't make it a priority. No, I'm not going to lie to myself and say that I didn't have the time. And if you have something like that, like my goal that I never even made an inch of progress in, like playing the guitar, if you have something like that, but it really, really matters to you, start today. Like my business goals really, really matter to me. So I'm still working on them. Start today. Why wait until January 1st? Again, right? You could start today and be 3 months ahead on January 1st. Who doesn't like a well-earned head start, right? It's not a failure to meet yourself where you're at. This is where you're at right now. You can't change the past 9 months. It's not a failure to meet yourself where you're at right now and start. It's a failure to never take a step in the direction of your goal. So how are we going to create our reality in these last 90 days? Well, I've got a little exercise for you. So I hear there is something called the 90-day year. I hear this tossed around a lot because in my fitness coaching business, I'm aligned with a community who makes personal development a vital behavior to move our businesses forward. Like we do it, it's a daily practice. Okay. So it means that I've heard just about every personal development book title, but of course I haven't read them all. I'm a super slow reader, by the way. So I don't know if this is a book or a workshop, but I know I've heard fellow business builders talk about the 90-day year. So they mentioned this practice anyway, and it truly works for me. I have put the practice into place. I just haven't read the book or attended the workshop, whatever it is, forgive me. But it gives me focus and direction when I'm someone who has a million tabs open at once. So if you're going to write down 3 goals for the remaining 90 days of 2022, what would they be? Just 3 goals for the remaining 90 days of 2022. So these can be, 1 per month, or just 3 that you'll work on in succession. And then write down 3 action steps per goal, and more if needed, but try to remain very focused on the goal and not busy work, because I have a tendency to do a lot of busy work that is not actually moving the needle. Okay. So what's going to actually move the needle kind of action steps? At least 3. Then I'm throwing in a fun part here. My favorite part. Write down a reward for yourself for each goal. So when you do the thing, you treat yourself, my friend. We naturally focus so much on the negative and are often our own worst enemy, right? Our own worst critic. And it's important to remember to celebrate all of the wins, big and small. It's important to get comfortable popping a bottle of champagne for yourself and not waiting on anyone else to do it. My podcast listeners know that I actually did that. When I recorded my first episode, I think it was February or March 2016. 2016, that was the start of my fitness journey. 2021. I was home alone with my kids that night, and I cracked open a mini bottle of champagne just to celebrate myself. So pick a reward for yourself for each goal. And also, these goals can be cleaning out all of the closets in your home. Like that's actually one of my goals. So like these don't have to be make $1 million by the end of the school year, by the end of the year goals. Yes, my kids are back to school. Can you see where my mind is? These should be realistic things that are actually doable. Is there a monthly income goal you want to hit, or a monthly savings goal? If there is something financial tied to your goals, then this is my suggestion. I would set your goal for the next 90 days, whatever the financial goal is, and then divide it by 3 months and then break it down per week. Or set aside per week. Maybe it's like less about income for you, and maybe it's more about savings or paying off debt, whatever it is. So these goals could also really be related to relationships, right? So maybe it's to incorporate a regular date night, or build a stronger relationship with your spouse. Okay, so how are you going to do it? I don't want to know all those details, honey. But are you going to set aside maybe twice a week to come together and do whatever, or just talk about how your week is going? Are you going to schedule in, 2 date nights a month? Like, what are your action steps for creating more connection with your spouse? So that's your assignment leaving this episode today. And I've got a freebie for you guys. So I created a Elevate Your Next 90 Days document for you to both record and then track these 3 goals that you're choosing. So the link is in the show notes. And if you want to share it with me, go for it after you fill it out. If you share it on your social, make sure to tag me. I do like the social media aspect because it holds me more accountable when I put things out into the universe. Like when I tell everyone that I'm doing something, I'm not quitting, but do what feels right for you. So this is what I'll start ending with. Stop just existing and live. Episode 20 of season 1 of Elevate with Erica podcast. If you missed that one, it might be a great follow-up to this show to go listen to. I think it was only about 13 minutes long. But what I want you to do with these remaining 90 days is stop existing and freaking live, my friend. Okay. So stop accepting what is handed to you and go after it. Go after that more organized home, that stronger relationship, that pay raise at work, that book you've been wanting to write, that guitar you want to play, the income that you want, the more present mom you want to be. Go after it. Even if you can't hit the goal by New Year's Eve, you're 3 months farther than you are today, right? So create your reality. Intentionally take the time to focus on what you want to grow. Grab a hold of what you can control. Start focusing on and creating those beautiful things in your life, and the universe will send you more of it. It's a beautiful thing, as long as you're actually working towards those things too. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this episode. Don't forget to go snag that freebie. I know this isn't releasing until October 3rd, Monday, October 3rd. So if you didn't watch Hocus Pocus 2 this past weekend on Disney Plus, go do that as well. Okay. Be the Hocus Pocus parent that embarrasses your children. If it wasn't like, it's nasty outside, you guys can probably see the wind and it's dark. If it wasn't raining, I'd pull up to that pickup line at school with the windows down today, playing "Come Little Children, I'll take thee away." That would be amazing, wouldn't it? My kids would be so embarrassed. My poor son in middle school. All right, you guys, podcast listeners, you guys know that this is part of the episode where we raise our glasses for cheers. And it can be water, a smoothie, or a glass of wine. I'm not here to judge. Cheers to making a conscious effort, to letting the past go, and waking up every day choosing the reality that we want to create. It starts with you making the choice, choosing to focus on what you can control, choosing to focus on what you want to see more of in your life. Choose to show gratitude for what you have. Choosing to set the intention to make it a day of progress and setting that plan into action one day at a time. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and a plan backed by action becomes your reality. So here's to not waiting for January 1st, to not wishing for a change, but instead living the change in these next 90 days and working for the life that we want. Until next episode, friends. E.